Good afternoon, I'm Jean-Pierre Lacroix, President of Shikatani Lacroix, and I'm very excited to share with you a great presentation. I think you're going to find the content of great interest. I have with me Alex Romanov. He is President of iSIGN Media Corporation.
JP, nice to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's great to have you. It's very interesting. There isn't a meeting that I don't go to, especially with retailers, that they're asking the question, how do we disrupt customers coming into our stores to pay attention to offers and promotions? You know, how do we get them to stop shopping online and start shopping more in our stores? And I came across your company. I think we were doing you came in and did a presentation. I was blown away. Maybe you can talk a little bit about iSIGN and what is iSIGN? What kind of service do you provide?
iSIGN is a SaaS solution, software as a service, and we have a software solution that embedded in media players or engines for digital signage can actually make digital signage measurable and accountable, so that people passing by would be picked up by their mobile device on our software, and that particular device would be identified by a serial number inside each mobile device, be it an iPad or a mobile phone. And so it's very private. We don't need your address, your name, your email, or your phone number to push a message to you. And when you're introduced to the message, you actually opt in to take it.
We hear a lot about geo-marketing, you know, Foursquare and obviously Google Maps have perfected the idea of marketing to customers where they are, when they are, and identifying them as a potential consumer for whatever brand is being promoted. How different is your services? Maybe you can talk a little bit about how it's set up and the process that goes through versus things like Foursquare that are more social media driven.
We have a small device which is actually a computer, and in it contains our software, of course. We call it the smart antenna. It'll broadcast, identify mobile devices and broadcast messages via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And the difference between the other solutions out there is that we are 100% proximity based. So you come within a range. So your store may have one of our units there. We will pick up any device within 300, 400 feet. And once that device is identified, a message is pushed to it. We don't use a carrier, we don't need GPS, and we feel that the strength is our messaging is relevant because the consumer can see the store and the offer being made to them.
What industries do you think you feel that this technology is being relevant, the most relevant to?
Well, I think it's relevant to anyone that needs to communicate with their public, their clients, their shoppers, their customers, be it a department store, be it a hospital, talking to the people coming through there, the medical staff, etc., be it a QSR, fast food operation, or be it a convenience store. And currently we have applications in a convenience store chain, Max in Canada, and our devices in about 1,400 Max stores are identifying about 1 million mobile devices per day. That's quite an audience.
1 million mobile devices a day. That is. In Canada, with a population of about 32 million?
Right.
That's 1 in 30 consumers you've identified.
Max has approximately 1.5 to 2 million people coming through the chain every day. So 4 to 5% of the Canadian population actually go through that chain. And then the added benefit of also extending that by addressing mobile devices within range of the store and offering them coffee, ice cream, whatever, brings them in. And we do have results that are quite appreciable.
It's a brand new, emerging technology. You know, you're testing it. You're one of the few industries, organizations that are actually doing this now. What would be the tips that you would provide the audience here on what should they be looking for, you know, or looking at?
No different than sending out mailers, literature, signage, but it's done digitally. And the fact that about 92% of all customers today carry a mobile device on them, you know that by pushing this to them, you will reach them. So the first advice would be to make sure you get an audience count around your store. And you'll actually get one for the first time, maybe, a very accurate one. It'll give you unique phones, in other words, the first time it's ever crossed the zone, or it'll give you repeat phones. They're all anonymous, but each one will be pushed a message, and they either accept or decline. Either way, they're getting an impression. So I would advise that the audience be measured first, and secondly, that you commence with pushing some messaging, see how the response is, upgrade the message, change the message, and you can get some very high results very quickly.
It sounds like this technology could be used for store location strategy. You could put an antenna up somewhere near a potential store and be able to track foot traffic in that market.
Absolutely. Both inside your store. If you have a very large store and you put 4 of our units inside the store, you can actually track which direction the customer is going, which area of the store they spend more of their time in, and also how much time they spend there. And we can also solicit them to become a loyalty member by simply using their device. No requirement to fill out forms or talk to clerks or take any of their time. They just do that while they're going through your store, and then they can be immediately offered benefits for being a loyalty member.
So let's just walk this through. So I'm walking into a retail store, and in my wireless device buzzes, I've got a message. That message is an offer from you. Do I need to opt in to receive that message? Do I need to give them my email address, or is it just, yes, I can accept this message? Well, how does that work?
Your phone will make whatever sound each individual device makes that you're getting a prompt, a message or whatever. You'll look at it and it'll say, would you like an offer from XYZ store? And would you like to become a loyalty member, take advantage of a 20% discount? You say yes. And then a page will come up that allows you to put in your name, phone number, address, etc. The required things that they would need for a loyalty member. And it'll thank you for that. Might take 3-4 minutes, and then it'll start to give you coupons. Now, the benefit of being a loyalty member is that it has your name. So the next time you come into the store, it'll say, hi JP, last time you were here, you bought some lumber, would you like some wood stain? So it keeps a record of what you're purchasing, and it's demographically profiling you based on your interests and the products you're buying.
So does the technology have to be effective, does the technology have to link into the POS system of that retailer? Or how does that work?
It doesn't. It works, I like to say it's machine to machine. So it's from our transmitter to your device. On the other hand, if one of our customers is doing this, we would put a server in their office, and any data gleaned is kept in that server, and they have access to it.
We talked before the session that you're in Texas. One of the research institutes or research universities are doing something. Can you talk about that? I find that very interesting.
Mobile broadcasting, advertising to mobile, has been going on for quite some time. 101 was SMS, which is pure text.
Yeah.
Issue there was, of course, that you didn't really agree to give your number. Somebody got your phone number and started SMSing things to you. Cost you money because it used the carriers. So you'd be paying 35, 65 cents for an ad. Also, it's not relevant. You might be washing your car and you get a offer for 2 pizzas 50 miles away. So it's not very relevant. In our case, it's very relevant and it's immediate, and all of the data, the push and the response is in real time. So we have taken that data and made an arrangement with a university, Baylor University, their research department. They're very well known for research, one of the oldest universities in the United States. And so they are receiving our data. It's called data when we get it, it's metrics when they start working on it, it ends up being statistics. All of it's, of course, anonymous. It doesn't impugn anybody's privacy. And all of it's used to study various habits and particular likes and dislikes of the public in different regions of the United States, Europe, South America, and hopefully soon China.
Well, so this technology could be anywhere. Is there areas that you couldn't put this technology?
Not really. Bluetooth is worldwide approved as a frequency used by medical, used by banks, used by devices that want to interconnect. What we've done with it is we use its maximum range to connect over 300 feet or more and push messaging. We may not turn on a printer, but we're going to turn on your phone and push a message to you. And it's extremely inexpensive. It could run to as little as 1/10 of a penny per coupon received. And we also measure redemption.
We bring an interesting point with performance, ROI. So if I was a retailer wanting to launch one of these programs, what kind of return on investment, what kind of performance and metrics and how do you what are those metrics that you evaluate the performance of your program?
That's a good question, and probably the core of this whole thing. Most merchants, retailers, spend time merchandising. They'll put a great big sign when we were kids that said everything must go. Well, when you see that sign, you tend to act on it. Our partner IBM will tell you that if you receive a prompt within sight of the offer, there's a 72% chance that you'll act on it. So everything must go in the 60s is really merchandising. It's localized. So really it is proximity. Today, the ability is the same using our device. So what a merchant should consider is, number one, we offer the device at no cost. So basically we charge a first step activation and programming charge, and then we charge a monthly fee. And that monthly fee could average anything from $5 a day and up, depending on the depth of the data that they'd like to capture. And what we capture is the device, type of device, exact time that it entered the zone, exact time that it entered the store, which offers it accepted or rejected, which is profiling, and which offers were redeemed. And this is good because they can study then and say, you know, that last offer we did last week did infinitely better than this week's offer. Let's see if we can change this. And this is done virtually. It takes exactly 4 minutes to cycle, and you can change your message every 4 minutes.
And can you structure those messages by zones, by regions?
Absolutely. If you have a large chain and you enter one store here and pick up a coupon, you can redeem it in another town or redeem it in another section of the city. And that's all kept within the system and monitored.
There's got to be some pitfalls. I mean, everything has pitfalls. And so is there some pitfalls to this new technology?
Yeah, having done this for about 5 years, you do recognize that there are some pitfalls. And basically, I'll give them to you in kind of an order of importance. Because you're dealing with mobile devices, you would be amazed how few people know how to use their smartphone. Usually the phone's smarter than the user. And so they can't receive the message, so they say, obviously this doesn't work. Yet a 17-year-old next to them or someone that knows their product will receive it right away and say, look, I got the coupon, you know. That's one pitfall. They're not comfortable with their machines to do this because it is a new process. The other one, of course, is a major worry is privacy. Most people think that their privacy is being impugned. What they don't realize is I don't need your phone number, name, or email address to push a message to you. So it's no different than a sign in a store window, except you're getting it on your screen here. It is called the third screen for a reason. What makes it interesting is that you can respond to it. You can't say yes and no to a TV. You can say it to a PC, and that's what made the internet so great. Now we've gone another step. We've made the phone with you 24 hours basically. It's always by your head, by your bedside, people spending 4 hours on it. And you can respond to a message. You can be polled. You can become a loyalty member. So you're actually talking back the way you do on a computer in location. So that's a bit of a pitfall there, is they worry about their privacy, but it's not an issue. And the last one that I might mention is that creativity. So there's a lot of issues with the establishment, and that is, you know, a lot of money spent on advertising. Using our system could be considered a little disruptive, shaking the established 100-year-old methodology of advertising. Our couponing, our creative, costs 1,000th of the cost that it might take to go to an ad agency. You can create coupons on the fly right there on the spot and send them out, messages, send them out, and get information back. So you don't need a company to go and do your stats for you. It's automatic. It's instant, and it's within your little empire, people that see your store. So that's another, what I call a bit of a pitfall, because you're pushing up against the established the printing business, the magazine business, TV business, radio business, and you know some of them are suffering because of the mobile abilities here. So I also consider that a pitfall.
We talked about performance ROI, and you gave me a very high level. But if I were to sit down with you and say, let's talk coupon redemption, do you have any statistics, performance metrics that would demonstrate that, you know, Groupon was the darling of the marketing industry, you know, 5 years ago? It's, I think, barely staying alive today. So what is the program? You said you've been doing this for 5 years. So obviously you've seen performance metrics. You know, what would be the anticipated rate of redemption for this type of technology? And how do you compare that to other couponing vehicles?
That's another great question. Couponing happens with SMS.
Yeah.
The difference here is that we do the same thing, but we can send you video. We can send you flash coupons. We can send you movies and music. So we can send you rich data over the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi networks. What makes us different is, first of all, we have a patent pending for what we do. And it's still standing, hasn't been challenged, and it's in place, and we're proud of that. Secondly, the others don't really use an IP technology, which we do. And we're partnered with some very large partners. And our couponing never stops. It just continues to be pushed, continues to take data back. And in the case of how much of a response you get, it all depends on content. So if your message is really good, and that's the idea of having a system like this, which enables you to send stuff out, measure it, send other stuff out, measure it, whether it's high or low, you can constantly adjust to the higher. In the case of some of the confectionery tests that we've done on our large networks at the C-stores, we've had a response as high as 21%.
21% redemption rate on the coupon.
21% redemption. And that happened over a 10-day period in 10 stores. That's not a lot. And I'll give you an example of cost and benefit. Over the 10 days, over 65,000 coupons were sent out from the 10 stores. It equated to 118 impressions, 118,000 impressions. And all of that yielded a 20.81% response. Now, that's 10 days. If you ran it over a month, that would triple in numbers, and probably the response would climb 2 or 3%, because it takes time. People talk about it. The other beautiful thing about mobile devices is if you get a good coupon, you can viral message it to your friends. So you'll end up with a bigger response than we actually measure. More people will come in. And so that thing run for 30 days would only cost $1,500. So pick your item, consider a 20% plus response rate, redemption rate, at only $1,500 covering those 10 stores. Average cost, you're making a good ROI on that.
You know, there's a lot of talk about big data. I know that Harvard Business Review, one of their most recent magazines, spent the entire issue. They're saying that, you know, we're drowning in data, that we're having trouble connecting the wealth of data we have to actionable strategies. And, you know, talk to me about big data as it relates to your platform.
It's kind of like a giant wave in Hawaii. Yes, there's a lot of data being gathered, and obviously all of it started with the PC, the internet connectivity, and the Silicon Valley boys that run the business. And I don't have to mention who they are. And being in the far west, they took a Western approach to it. They just took all your private information and did what they wanted with it, right? Nobody said, hey. That was all fine until they switched to mobile. Now, we're all used to mobile being very private. I like my cell phone because I'm not getting marketing on my cell phone, but I'm getting a lot of it on my home phone, even though I'm not registered. So the same cowboys, if you might, they're big and strong, started treating the mobile section the same way. Well, people were ready for this one, and they started to rebel and say, hey, I didn't give you my number, I don't need all this. So you've all heard about the issues. However, the mobile phone allows for much greater data than the PC ever did. And you know, PC sales are going down, tablets, etc., mobility stuff is going up, so a lot more data is being gathered. And a lot of it is anonymous, and a lot of it is volunteered now. So it's much more identifiable and focused on, etc. And it's becoming important. And you can have minute data. Our system can actually ask you, which chocolate bar do you prefer? Which one do you like? Do you like that movie? Would you buy 3 tickets to that movie if I gave you 4? So data's getting bigger. And the key is, what do you do with it? And so that's why we feel in collecting data, and we have a lot of it, the best thing to do is give it to someone that's a professional with it, let them go through it, and turn it into packets that'll help our customers do a better job in their business.
So Alex, you talked about you know, the C-store and the confectionery goods. Are there other case studies that we could share with our audience?
Yeah, there's one that we're pretty proud of. It's a gas station. And as you know, the economy here is run on vehicles,
yeah,
so it's an automotive economy. Gas stations are actually convenience stores that also sell fuel. So one of our customers in the Midwest USA, through our master distributor, Graphic Media for the States, they have a deal with National Oil, who has a number of gas stations and supply Marathon, Phillips 66, etc. So having that fuel connection has also been the runway to get our antennas into some gas stations. And interestingly enough, they ran a coupon that said 10 cents off per gallon. Now, in the United States, that's a really great economic, political thing to do at this time. And they got up to 32% response rate. And what was really interesting about it is people do come in for fuel. And this is proximity based. So you're not selling them 2 miles away to come in. You're selling them when they're pulling into your lot. And what they discovered, that most of their customers were coming in for $20. But when they learned that they can get 10 cents a gallon off, they got a lot more fill-ups. So that increased their ROI, gave them a great response, and at the same time made more people go into the store because they had to get the coupon verified. It's to take it into the store to get the 10-cent thing. So that worked extremely well, and they're going to continue with something like that.
When you look at this technology and you look 5 years out, I mean, you pioneered this, you've got patent pending. When you look 5 years from now, how do you think that technology is going to change? Or will it?
I don't know that it'll change as quickly as we think, because if you look at the grandfather of this technology, which is literature, mailers. You go into any hamburger place and it's full of handouts, you know, and they mail it to you and send. All that costs money. There's another way to do it. As you approach the hamburger place, they could send you a coupon to help you make your buying decision. Should I try that new or whatever the product may be? Should I try that new burger? And when you're done, if it's made you buy that, as you're leaving, it could make you a post-purchase offer. Come on back next Wednesday, we have a special for you at that time. So you're working more of the large mass that you're getting through your stores. It's couponing, it's green, and it doesn't cost as much as print. There's no logistics, no cleanup, nothing. You get the message and you know how many went out, how many were working. So I think that's going to have a longer history. It might replace a lot of printing. Not going to kill printing, but it's going to replace a lot of it. And I think it'll live for some time along with printing and take its position. So it's got a future, a long one.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Alex. That was very insightful, and I'm pretty excited. You know, I'd love to see some of our clients apply this technology, because we're all looking for that disruptive technology that's going to get better engagement in our brands, and obviously this has proved to be a process that is working and continues to work. We're going to leave the lines open. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a phone number, and please dial in the number. We've got a series of questions that we've been receiving online, and we'd love to share those answers to those questions, and also answer any of the questions you may have. Thank you very much for joining us, Design Lounge. Stay tuned, pick up the phone, and let's have a dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good.